Good evening. Tonight we will be holding the presidential debates for the 2016 election year. My name is Gabrielle Higgins and I will be moderating this event. I am joined by our four presidential candidates, Republicans Chris Christie and Sarah Palin, and Democrats Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton.
We are going to cross this bridge together.
I'm representing all you mavericks out there.
I'm helping all the grandpas cross the street of democracy.
I'm here to carry on the legacy of my husband, Bill Clinton.
Now we will begin with the questions. Each candidate will be given a chance to answer the question before we move on to the next. Ladies first. Sarah, what is your stance on foreign policy?
Well, for beginners, foreign policy is the one away from home. I think we should just nuke all them bad guys because the world is full of them, and we need a superhero like Batman to come and save the day. Like, if President Obama were to try and pass another bill for Obamacare to fix the already existing problems, or if Canada gets in my way of a friendship with Vlad, oh yeah, sorry, Mr. Putin. Yeah, we're on a first-name basis now.
Could we get back to foreign policy? I'd like to talk about my husband, thank you.
Oh yeah, but in conclusion,
You never started anything.
I think we all can agree that the only thing that stops the bad guys with the nukes is a good guy with a nuke. So yeah, back to you, Mrs. Moderator.
Okay, now it's your turn, Hillary.
Finally, we can get back to the issues. I believe that our country should operate from a position of strength, but not confrontation, and that diplomacy should be the cornerstone of all foreign policy.
And I can see Russia from my house.
Sit down, Sarah. Can you elaborate, Hillary?
Well, no, because I'm not sure if I'm running for president yet, so I don't want to show all my cards.
Well, then what are you doing here?
I might be.
Okay, moving on. Joe Biden, what is your stance on foreign policy?
My stance on foreign policy is Delaware. In Delaware, the largest population growth is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking. Oh, but I forgot, this is foreign policy, so I'll start talking about our 52 states.
Don't forget Alaska.
Oh, that's right, 53 states. And let's talk about the Russians for a minute. So far, we have been tough on them. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you. Teddy thought his stick was big. If Russia keeps up this business with the Ukraine, what will we do? We will threaten them with more sanctions that will probably never happen. You see, the Ukraine thing is important and all, but I get ice cream imported from those Russian mountains, and we cannot risk losing that. I mean, let's keep our priorities straight here.
Okay. And finally, Mr. Christie, I hear you have a big stance on foreign policy.
Is that a fat joke? Okay. My foreign policy consists of remaining vigilant and staying connected to the rest of the world. The figurative bridge that the U.S. has created with the rest of the world allows us to import a wide variety of foods. And personally, I don't know how I would live without my pound cake.
All right, let's move on to the next question. What do you think needs the most reform in our schools?
Well, in my opinion, education is one of the most important issues our children are facing today. And my kids, Bristol, Track, Piper, Willow, and, oh shoot, which one did I forget? That's right, and Trig. My 4, 5 beautiful children would agree. Now, there are 3 points to my proposal. 1, we need to support our schools with funding in order to promote early education and programs for the disadvantaged children. I believe with these programs, more children would stay off the streets and out of trouble. I mean, just look what happened with my daughter when she was 16. See what I had to go through? This is why we need to keep these kids in school, so I don't have to deal with them for 8 hours a day. 2, I think we need to revamp the No Child Left Behind Act, because it is very important that we don't lose our children in public. I mean, honestly, how many of you have ever lost one of your children or left them behind somewhere? Guess it's just me. But seriously, all children should have the same opportunity for education. And 3, well, I don't really have a third point, so...
How shocking. All right, Hillary, it's your turn to answer.
First and foremost, I believe that a child's first teacher is their parents. Some children are more worried about than others. Anyhow, I believe it is important for everyone to receive an education, especially women. Women are an untapped reservoir of talent. I say we tap that. Now, I know all the women out there can't be as amazing as I am. I mean, look at me. I've gone to just about every country. I've held many positions in government. And my husband is Bill Clinton.
Stop talking about yourself, Hillary.
It takes a village. The American village has failed their children. This needs to be fixed. The children are our future. If we want a bright one, we have to give them a proper education.
All right, Mr. Biden, what do you feel needs the most reform in our education system? Joe? Joe? Christy, turn this hearing aid on.
Oh, sorry. Okay, this topic is a tough one for me.
You should invest a few million into public speaking classes.
Actually, Hillary, my people really wanted me to do this on teleprompter, but I told them I was much better when I wing it. So anyway, unlike Christy over here, I think school is for filling brains, not stomachs. Therefore, the way to a brighter future is
Not that you'll be around for it.
is to increase funding to schools. We also need to focus on giving inner city children the same opportunities. If there's anything we need to spend money on, it's the well-being of our grandkids.
All right, Chris, clearly you know the question. What do you feel is the correct answer?
I feel the thing that needs the most reform in education is food. I have plans to cut subsidized school meals and save money for the education system as a whole. I feel that lunch programs in school are giving too much food to children and therefore promoting obesity in America.
Well, that's a little ironic, don't you think?
Is that a phantom?
All right, on to the next question. What do you feel is the best approach to fixing our broken economy?
We need to say no thank you to federal dollars with fat strings attached.
Is that directed at me?
No. Anyways, I think that statement is pretty self-explanatory. But if we are looking at the big picture, we see America is looking for answers. She's looking for a new direction. The world is looking for a light. That light can come from America's great North Star. It can come from Alaska.
I think America
What is she doing? I haven't asked her the question yet.
should go back to the policies implemented by my husband, Bill Clinton. He strived for a large tax increase, which allowed America to have a surplus in funds. And that's about it.
I can think of a few other things that Bill Clinton did during his presidency.
What do you mean?
Never mind, Joe.
Okay.
Okay, why don't you answer the question?
Okay, well look, these other guys' last economic plan does nothing to tackle the #1 job facing the middle class. And it happens to be, as my good friend Barack says, the 3-letter word. J-O-B-S, job. So in other news, Republicans are trying to sucker us into this. You either have to balance the budget and do nothing to make people's lives better, or you're going to balloon the deficit. Well, they have ballooned the deficit with their bad priorities. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about spending for our handicapped citizens. If there's any testament to overcoming disabilities, it's our very own state senator out there, Chuck Graham. Stand up, Chuck, let him see you.
You just told a guy in a wheelchair to stand up.
Well,
And you want to be president?
well, that's a little awkward. But, Chris, at least when I stand up, I'm taller than I am wide. kind of like your plan for the country. And here you go, Mr. Christie. Lame and fat.
All right, Joe, put your teeth back in. Chris, answer the question.
I feel we should slim down the budget.
That's not the only thing that needs slimming down.
Is that a fat joke? Anyway, reducing government spending will allow for an increase in the money supply and allow for a decreased deficit.
Okay, candidates, this is the last question for today. What do you feel is the leading cause of global warming?
I think it's just God hugging us closer. Alaska is definitely feeling the effects. Pretty soon, the whole world will see the effects. As Earth starts to warm up, all our old friends will start coming back. I mean, the polar bears might die off, but think of all the dinosaurs we're gonna get.
Plain and simple. There are just too many people on the planet. People need to stop having so many children. For example, just look at families like the Duggar family. They have 19 children and continue to have more. Just stop! I did my part. I only had one child. Do your part. Don't have children.
Hey, I have 4 kids.
Five! You have 5 kids, Sarah.
Darn it. Who never did anything to the dinosaurs the first time. Not that I don't enjoy the polar bears running around in my backyard, but those dinos would sure love the depleting snow in Alaska.
Well, I would blame the teachers of the world. They just use so much paper. That's why all classes should switch to being online classes. As president, I would personally endorse the website moodle-btboses.org. This, ladies and gentlemen, will certainly fix our problems.
The leading cause of global warming are construction companies that are producing fossil fuels as they knock down our country's buildings, monuments, and bridges! I can't. I literally can't right now.
Yeah, and those construction companies could save money and resources by using you as the record.
Is that a fat joke?
What?
You know what? You know what? We're not.
You're just going on.
Where did you get that word?
Here's the kids you have.
Okay, you know what Delaware? It is Delaware. It's Delaware.
Well, this certainly has been a charming evening. In summary, Sarah Palin can see Russia from her house. Hillary Clinton has an odd fixation with her husband. Bill Clinton's mind is starting to go soft. And Chris Christie has a weight problem.
Hey!
Yes, Mr. Christie, that was a fat joke.